pretty much live on Facebook as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. And first of all, what I have to say is happy Valentine's Day. Woo! Hope wherever you are, you're having a lovely Valentine's Day. I can't say it's been the most romantic Valentine's Day we've ever had here at my place. Not complaining. My husband gave me a really beautiful card. I ordered him a card online which never turned up, and my son's on holidays, so we'll probably have a family Valentine's night tonight. What about you? How are you doing? How's your love life? What are your hopes and dreams and wishes for Valentine's Day, if any? This week's full moon in Leo coincides with a conjunction between Mars and Venus and Mars in Capricorn. So that's actually quite good for Valentine's Day. It's a great opportunity for gratitude and the celebration of relationships. So, you know, like I think in our case, I doubt very much we'll be going out for dinner, my husband and I. But, you know, I certainly appreciate him. And, according to what he wrote in his card, he appreciates me. So that's beautiful. So it's a great opportunity for gratitude and relationships, and in all relationships, including your relationship with yourself. Saying, it was my friend Rebecca Rennie, actually, a musician and author. She said, we should normalize Valentine's Day being for everybody, not just for lovers. And I think that's quite a good idea. So what I'm going to tell you about today is how you can turn Leo's boldness and confidence into happier times to do with money, love, friendship, as we look at Venus and Mars and the full moon. But before we get started, I am going to, first of all, I'm going to give you the number to call in on. If you'd like to call in, I would love to speak to you. I always do as many calls as I can, but it's never as many as I want to do. The number to dial is 816-251-3555 if you're in the US of A. 816-251-3555. I've actually just seen we've actually already got a call. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to do a quick chakra chant, which regular viewers will know I do whenever I'm a bit like, woo, all over the place. And it is a bit all over the place at the moment. I mean, we're coming up to the full moon. We are going to be a little bit crazy. I'm just going to do it once. It's a chakra chant. I learnt it in India it was given to me by my teacher in India, Sri Shakti Narayani Amma, at the ashram. I've been going there in southern India, a place called Thirumalakodi for about, 16 years now. And it basically is a combination of the sounds of the 5 elements and the vibrations for the chakras. And I'm just going to do it. We're just going to get ourselves in the zone. So if you're listening on the radio or you're watching on Facebook, just close your eyes, drop your shoulders, okay? And just breathe. In and out. In through the nose and hold and out. I've been working since 5:30 a.m. I need this little moment. Breathe in and hold and out. Okay, I'm going to do the chant just once. Here we go. Hari Om Nam Lam Mam Vam Sim Ram Vam Yam Yam Ham Shiva Ram Swaha. So there we go. Okay, 816-251-3555 is the number to call. People are calling in. If you're in the States, 816-251-3555. If you're in the UK and you've got some kind of special deal and you can call in, you would dial 0111 816-251-3555. 0111 816-251-3555. So let us go to Ginny on line 1 for an early phone call. How are you, Ginny?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Hopefully everybody else can as well. So,
Hey, I'm happy.
yay. So where are you, Ginny?
I'm in Virginia.
Oh, so you've crossed the country.
Pardon me?
You were born in California and you're in Virginia.
Yeah, but I grew up here, so.
All right.
So it's been a crisscross.
Okay. And so are you a West Coast girl or a East Side person?
I'm totally an East Coast girl.
Oh, are you? Because if I ever went to live in America, I'd be a West Coast girl.
Yeah, well, you're Australia person, so Australia and the West Coast are more similar.
Bit more in common. Right. Interesting. Yeah.
It's really beautiful, so just gorgeous, country. But first, before we get started, I just want to say all my love to you. Thank you so much for everything you do. I'm part of all your different communities.
Ah.
And I just so appreciate your work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ginny. Are you in the Sun, Moon and Stars?
I am.
Ah.
I am. I just pretty recently, but I just think you're brilliant, and I really appreciate how loving and inclusive you are. It's just amazing. So thank you.
Well, thank you for thanking me like that. That's absolutely lovely. It's not everybody who gets thanked like that in their job, and I consider myself very lucky to do something where I get to help people, I get to do something I love, and I actually get to have contact with people who then say thank you, which is so nice, so nice, so nice. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thanks. So, Ginny, let's take a look at your chart for a second. Have you had your chart done before?
I have.
So you're a quadruple Scorpio, a triple Sagittarius with Moon in Cancer, with Sag rising actually, by the way.
So what does that make me, crazy?
Well, it means, someone who's Sagittarius rising, but they're actually Scorpio, quadruple Scorpio, I would say still waters run deep. Do you know that expression in America?
I do.
You might come across as Mrs. Cheery and lovely, but you've got that really deep, quite mystical, quite maybe secretive side to you. So, it's not, we don't get everything when we meet you the first time. You have to get to know you really well to know the other bits of you. That's just how astrology works. When you've got this cheery sign, Sagittarius is your rising sign, but then you're a quadruple Scorpio. It's like, oh, well, it's not all going to be on the table when you walk in the door.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that's true, but I think I'm more I'm more Sagittarius than, even though I am so much Scorpio too, it's like, my heart's on my sleeve.
Right, oh, that's nice. Yeah, well, you've also got Mercury in Sag, Mercury being the mind planet, so you think like a Sagittarian. So even though you are a Scorpio, that's one of the things that people kind of don't realize when they first start to learn astrology, is that we're so used to saying, I'm a Leo, or I'm a Scorpio, or I'm a Gemini, or whatever, but it's just one of 10 planets in your chart. And can I just say, Ginny, just for anyone who's listening, if you're thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind knowing what my chart says, you can do it for free at moonmessages.com/free chart, one word, moonmessages.com/free chart. So, Ginny, what would you like to know today, madame?
I just have been all over the map, Yasmin. Really, it's been such a bumpy ride. And I'm hoping it's going to smooth out. It's just been like one day I'm on the moon, the next day I'm like in hell.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do think there's a little bit of that about at the moment. I'm a bit like that as well. Although I have to say, I'm going to say this, but then I'm going to say there's actually a reason why this is happening to you big time. I think the whole world is a bit like that at the moment. I think we're all a bit up and down, like we can sense that this whole torment of the last 2 years is going to come to an end. I mean, it hasn't been all bad, obviously, but, it hasn't been ideal. So I think that's normal to be a bit up and down right now, in my, completely unprofessional opinion. In my astrological opinion, I can tell you, though, my professional astrological opinion, I can tell you, being a quadruple Scorpio, you've actually got, how did you describe it? What did you say? What word did you use? Did you use it's been up and down, or a bumpy ride, didn't you? You said bumpy ride. Yeah, well, you've got the planet of bumpy rides, Uranus, right opposite your 4 Scorpio planets. So anyone who's listening, if you're Taurus or Scorpio in particular, or in fact Leo or Aquarius, those are the signs that are really getting hit right now. So if you've got lots of planets in any of those signs, that's the planet of bumpy rides. Uranus is like causing chaos right now for all of you. But you mustn't sort of just then say, oh, because the first thing you're probably going to say or think is, oh, God, how long does this last for? The thing is, it lasts for a while longer, and it's actually about trying to liberate you from things that you don't want to be stuck with anymore. So again, I'll just repeat it, especially for people who've got lots of planets in Scorpio or Taurus or Leo or Aquarius. Where are you stuck? Because in a way, it's about liberating yourself from the things that are making you feel trapped. Does that make sense, Ginny?
Yeah.
Does it?
One other thing that I want to ask you that's kind of a general question that may be helpful to everybody is, when I look at your, daily or weekly star reports or predictions or whatever, I'm looking both. I look at Sagittarius because that's my rising sign, but I also sometimes look at Scorpio too. Is that reasonable or not really?
So I do think it's reasonable. I must say, I do the same, because the thing is, we were all conditioned growing up, weren't we, to read our star sign. So, I'm Cancer and I'm a moon child. So I always want to read, what's going on for me in that respect. Even though I even read my own horoscopes, because I write them so far in advance. By the time they come up, I've totally forgotten what I've written. And so I will always go to read my star sign, and then I think, oh, hang on, I should actually read my rising sign, because the way astrology works, and the way I write horoscopes in particular, and the way most good horoscope writers write horoscopes, if you read your horoscope for your rising sign, what you're actually doing is reading it based on your actual chart. So, your Sagittarius rising. So if you read Sagittarius rising, if I say, Saturn is in your 3rd house, of the mind, and Saturn's a bit of a downer planet. So if you're going, it's like I'm looking at your actual chart. So on the one hand, I understand you want to read Scorpio the same way I want to read Moonchild or Cancer. On the other hand, especially if you're reading my stars or somebody else who does this method, which I think most people do, you will get a more accurate reading if you read your rising sign for that reason.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
So that was specifically, I'd like to know, I'm really sick of being by myself. I'm really sick of being by myself. I live out in the country, so I'm isolated to begin with. I love it out here, and I'm really fed by natural environment, but by the same token, it's pretty lonesome. I don't have any family here now, so I'm like, you know, I've got tons of friends and all that is lacking.
All right, so the first thing to say is that I don't know if you're going to like it or not. The best thing you can do is go online.
Oh no, I am. I'm online. I'm on apps. I can't say I love it, but I feel like I'm you know, I've gone through the motions with a couple of guys that, you know, they're nice, they're fine, but, you know, I'm sorry, I kind of am looking for the bells and whistles. And I've given them plenty of opportunities. I haven't, you know, said, okay, this is, you know, there's nothing here next. But by the same token, I kind of am saying, well, gosh, I mean, maybe I need to be less picky, but...
Oh, no, I don't think you need to be less picky. So let me just say, so the end of May, the new moon in Gemini, because you're Sagittarius rising, whenever it's the opposite sign, so Sag and Gemini are opposite signs, so the new moon in Gemini will be in your love zone. So that's when you need to kind of be starting to set intentions and really doing some work on yourself regarding your relationships, maybe doing a vision board, you know, if you've got my book Cosmic Love, which I wrote many millions of years ago, that's a really good little book. I'm actually going to turn it into an online course one of these days. But that's a really good little book to help you to really kind of clear away the past and open up to new relationships. That's called Cosmic Love. You can buy it on Amazon. I wrote it like 20 years ago, and I'd probably write it differently now, but the exercises and the techniques in there all still stand up. So, you know, maybe be looking at doing something like that. But really, the big thing that's coming your way won't happen, I think, until next year. Although we do, I was also going to mention, as of about August, you do start to go into another sort of peak relationship period. If there was someone you loved and lost that you've always kind of thought, oh, I wonder whatever happened to them, around the end of the year could be a good time to, you know, follow up on that, chase them up. So really from August to May, it's quite a good, August to June. No, wait a minute, might even be August to July. No, August to the end of June, you actually go into a pretty good love phase. And then what's going to happen, so you could easily meet someone between August and May. Sorry, I'm just running the chart, that's the clicking you can hear. But then in between August this year and May 2023, get out there and meet as many people as you can. Do it now as well, and do your wishes in May 2022, like I told you with the new moon in Gemini. But then from August onwards until May, you have really good, lots of openings regarding love. But then in June 2024, I know it sounds like we're talking a long way away, but you have to meet someone, you have to get to know them. Honestly, it's the best time you've had for getting married for 12 years basically. So, you know, I would say May, do your new moon wishes and then just keep dating. August to May next year, really good time to meet someone if you haven't already, or just to grow the relationship. That'll be 2023 next year, and then the following year, that is when you could make a big lifelong commitment to someone. So there you go. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It seems like forever, but...
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got to meet someone, and then if you meet someone, you can't just instantly get married. You need to get to know them for a good year or two. So it is going to take us into next year and the year after.
Yeah, I'm good with that. It's just, you know, internet dating is a bizarre construct, and, you know, but it is what it is. I mean, how else are you doing it? You're not.
Yeah, exactly. No, set your intentions at the Gemini new moon, and honestly, it will be powerful. See if you can find my book, Cosmic Love. I'd send you a copy, but I don't have any. I wrote it in about 2001 or something, or 1999. But it's a good little book. It really helps you to kind of open up to relationships. You can get it on Amazon, but sometimes they try and charge like hundreds of dollars because it's out of print. But you might get lucky with someone who's sort of selling a second-hand one because they found their true love and they don't need it anymore.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, Ginny, I will see you in the Sun, Moon and Stars on, I think it's the 17th or 18th. We're doing a big special about the big changes which are coming up. Actually, let me just quickly look at your chart. So,
yeah, you know, when is the timing of that? Because I know I have the 18th on my calendar, but I think it's probably 11 p.m. for me. If you're doing I'm
not sure what time it is, but I can tell you that that's going to be all about you changing your life. So changing your lifestyle, Sagittarius rising, what do you want to do differently in your life?
Cool.
Yay.
I'm ready.
All right.
Thank you. I really think you're taking my call.
Oh, gosh, thank you for calling in. Really lovely to speak to you.
You as well. You have a lovely day.
Thanks,
Happy
you too,
Valentine's
Ginny.
Day.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. All right, so that was the lovely Ginny. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to look at the chart for everybody for Valentine's Day. Let me know if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know in the comments. Are you loved up? Are you looking for love? What do you want? You know, have you given up on love? Are you eternally optimistic regarding love? Are you blessed with a beautiful partner? Obviously, everything goes in cycles. Everybody has ups and downs. This Valentine's night, so as I just said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that I'm going to have much of a super romantic Valentine's night because, apart from anything else, my son is on school holidays. So unless we just sort of abandon him and go off and have a romantic dinner, which kind of feels a bit mean, I think it's going to be a family Valentine's night, probably in front of the TV watching The West Wing, which is what we're all watching at the moment. But how about you? There is romance in the air. So why is there romance in the air? Well, apart from anything else, Venus, which is like the love planet, not like the love planet, Venus is the love planet, is pairing up with Mars. And so Venus and Mars are more or less boyfriend and girlfriend. Am I talking to thin air here? What's happening? Oh God, what's happened? I don't know if I'm still on the air or not, but anyway, I'm definitely on Facebook. So Venus and Mars are linking up. Oh no, someone on Facebook saying they've given up. Don't give up. And it's a good romantic night. So if you're doing online dating, and you've got a date tonight, just go out and have some fun. Don't take it too seriously. Venus and Mars is like loving and romantic. In our case, if you're like me and you're staying home with your hubby and the kid or the kids, that's absolutely fine as well. Just, be happy and grateful for all the good in your life. And, it doesn't always have to be, romantic love. It can be love with your family, or it can be, if you love your best buddy, or whatever. So we've got about, I don't know what's happened. I think I've come off the air at Unity Online Radio. I don't know what happened there. In fact, Louis, not my son, Louis, who works at Unity, was saying that he'd had trouble connecting to me because that's why he ended up calling me 30 seconds before the show started. So I think the connection's a bit weak today. I've got a card for us for Valentine's. Are you ready? Are you ready? What do we need to know to have a good... Oh, that'll be him trying to call again. What do we need to know to have a good Valentine's? Oh, no, maybe I am still here. Okay, I think we were actually still there. Okay, I've got like very little time left now anyway. So the card is reveal what needs to be seen. So this card, you know what this card actually says in a nutshell? It says, you know, if you're going on a romantic date tonight, yeah, be honest, show what needs to be seen, but don't tell everything. So, you know, even like if you're going on a romantic date with your partner, just talk about don't talk about taking out the rubbish and that stuff. Okay? Talk about stuff that's a bit more romantic. And you can talk about the day-to-day stuff a bit later. So I think we're going to the break now, and I'll be back after the break to talk about the full moon. Hi, Louis. Did I get cut off or something or not?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. Rightio. All right.
Okay.
Sorry. No, but what I can see the clock. But what happened was that I don't know. My phone sort of seemed to switch itself off, and I thought that I'd been cut off, but then then you reappeared, so that was good. Anyway, so we've got 3.
Well, yeah, we didn't lose anything, so.
Sorry.
We didn't lose anything.
Oh,
so.
that's good. That's good. That's fine. All right. Let me just fix this up. Sorry guys, I'll just be 1 second. All right, 816-251-3555 if you want to call. I'd love to speak to you. Just doing a little something here. All right, I'm ready whenever the radio is. I still think we've got a few minutes actually. 10:32. We've got a minute and a half. All right, I'm going to do a card for the first person on Facebook who says yes please for a card. Who says yes please for a card? There's a little bit of delay. Kimberly, it's moonmessages.com/free chart. Moonmessages.com/free chart. Okay, yes please, Emma. Is it Emma Watley or well? I couldn't catch her, but it's Emma WHAL something. Okay, Emma, card for you. Oh my God, it's the same card. I can't believe it. It's the reveal what needs to be seen. So I will read that once we come back from the break, which I think we're going to come back from the break in 30 seconds. How about that? So weird the way that happens. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, should I? Reveal what needs to be seen. So it's a message for all of us this Valentine's, apparently. Reveal what needs to be seen.
816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555.
Here we go.
Find out what's happening in the skies. Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
Hey everybody, welcome back after our little break that we had there. I'm coming to you live on unityonlineradio.org and on Facebook, and I can see myself talking on Facebook. which is kind of funny. Someone was saying before the break, where do we get your chart done for free? It's moonmessages.com/free chart, free chart, one word, moonmessages.com/free chart. And you can get your chart done there for free. And the way I've set that chart up, it's actually really, really simple for people. Even if you don't know anything about astrology, it'll give you kind of the basics. So in the break, I said on Facebook, Unity Online Radio couldn't hear me, but on Facebook I said, first person to say in the comments that yes please to a card, I will give a card. And it was a lovely lady called Emma Whitley or Walby or Whaley, or I'm sorry I couldn't catch the surname because it was going so fast. And so I shuffled, everyone saw me shuffling, and which card did I get? I got the exact same card that I got before the break, which is the reveal what needs to be seen card. So I think when the card comes up twice, it's a message to all of us that we need to really hear this card. Okay, so this is our card for Valentine's Day. Are you ready? If you're watching this or listening to this, you're watching or listening for a reason. So here we go. There are some things that people just don't like to talk about. Drawing this card suggests there's an issue or situation in your life that might not be easy to air, or perhaps you feel you shouldn't talk about it. That's fine. Now is a time for you to reveal only what needs to be seen. Don't feel the need to discuss everything with everyone. Some matters that require discretion. The less codependent you are, the better chance you have of getting what you want. So that's a message to everybody who's going out on a Valentine's night date with a handsome stranger or a beautiful stranger and thinking, oh, I'm just going to say everything about me. Well, maybe you should just ease in. I have a friend in Australia, Carolyn, and she... well, I probably shouldn't say now I've said her name, but she, well, I hope she won't mind me saying, but, she's quite cosmic. And so when she goes on her first date, she's always wondering how much of herself should she reveal. So Carolyn, if you're watching and you've got a Valentine's night date, only reveal what needs to be seen tonight, my darling. Manifesting mix. There are two forces at play and neither wants to budge. Strong is good, stubborn is a problem. So just bear that in mind. Manifesting mindset. So if you're manifesting relationships or you're manifesting that you want your partner to propose to you tonight or ask you to move in or something like that, remember this: when you no longer feel the need to tell everyone what you're manifesting, you're ready to start manifesting. Excuse me. Now, if you've got my Moonology manifestation cards, you will know that every card has either essential oils or chakras or goddesses or angels to work with. In the case of the last quarter moon cards, which this is quite last quarter moon, it's the manifesting magic is crystals, okay? So if you want to do some magic, remember, you are watching this for a reason, okay? And if you want to do, and in fact, also to Ginny who called in, if you're still listening, or anyone else, if you want to do a crystal grid for love, okay? Really good day to do it today because it's Valentine's Day. It's we're in the waxing cycle still because the full moon hasn't taken place yet. And Venus and Mars are meeting up. And there's the collective energy of Valentine's Day. So the crystals to use, if you've got them. If you haven't got them, that's fine. Just use what you've got. Grossular garnet, pyrite, peridot, lepidolite, azurite, or black obsidian. You really, for a crystal grid, you only really need 5 and a bit of clear quartz in the middle, and then join them up with your finger and just say, I'm wishing for a beautiful love life, or whatever you want to say, and just leave it up until you don't want it anymore, until you feel it's done its work. And if you want an affirmation, and again, we got this card twice, okay? There is a reason why we're all getting this. Even me, I'm trying to take it all in as I read it to you. I know that dramas now are healing crises. I know that dramas now are healing crises. So if you've been through dramas, Breathe out. They've been healing crises. So let's take a look at the full moon, which is coming up any moment now. In fact, I was going to look at my computer program, but I don't need to, do I? Because I happen to have my handy Moonology diary. It's the new moon, it's the full moon rather, in Leo. There we go. For those of you who have my diary, for those of you who don't, I'm afraid it's sold out, unless you manage to get it in a little tiny bookshop somewhere. Okie doke. So, full moon in Leo, page 52. Okay, so let's first of all go through the times of the full moon, okay? So today is the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. The full moon will take place in London on the 16th of February at 4:56 p.m. So that's 4 minutes to 5 p.m. in 2 days. So not tomorrow, but the next day. In LA, it's the 16th of February at 8:56 a.m. In New York, it's the 16th of February at 11:56 a.m., so 4 minutes to midday. And in Sydney, it's February 17 at 3:56 a.m., so 4 minutes to 4 in the morning. So, yeah, so there you go. So, in particular, if you happen to be, well, basically, if you're in London, LA, or New York, or one of those sorts of places, or in Europe, then in fact what you want to do is you want to go out on the night of the 15th and do your moon work. I'm sure I'm committed to doing a Facebook full moon ceremony in the backyard like I do every single month, and I'm hoping it's going to be on the night of the 16th. If I've organised it properly. Otherwise, I do sometimes change these at the last minute because I realise, oh my God, I booked it, you know, when the moon was void, of course, or whatever. But again, if you're on Facebook, you can find me on the events page. I do all my ceremonies and rituals for the full moon and the new moon on Facebook. And they're free, obviously, and I absolutely love doing them. So, and in Sydney, it's going to be the night of the 16th for you that you can go out and howl at the moon. Or in Australia, actually. So let's just read a little bit about this. So there's something very exciting about this full moon. For one thing, it takes place in the fiery sign of Leo. Full moons are always intense, but even more so when they are on fire. And a full moon in Leo is kind of on fire. This year, the full moon is taking place just ahead of one of the signature alignments of 2022, a Jupiter-Uranus link which heralds a harmonious alliance and also a change, a positive change. Full moons are also turning points like the Jupiter-Uranus alignment. Once they've been and gone, we move from the intent-laden waxing cycle to the surrendering spirit of the waning cycle. So right now we're in the waxing cycle, right now, and then up to the moment of the full moon, we're in the waxing cycle, and it's when we go for it. It's like, I mean, I've been really going for it. I'm really going to try and make myself stop at the full moon and just have a couple of, at least, I mean, if I can, I'd like to take the whole of the waning cycle, not off, but just breathe. I've been in chaos, crazy creativity mode. I'm just going to tell you, like, you know, I had COVID in September. Like, my brain went stupid for about 2 months. I couldn't barely think. I was making crazy mistakes and all that. And then all of a sudden, my brain, like, switched back on, and now it's like in overdrive. It's like those 2 months of all those ideas that I would have had, all the things I wanted to say and do and write. Everything's just like coming out in this big gush. So if you're new to the working with the moon, you might not know. So between the new moon and the full moon, so the full moon's in 2 days, that's when you want to really go for it. But then from the full moon back to the new moon, that's when you want to just take it easy, the waning cycle. Let me just do what I always do in my workshop. So it's waxing cycle on, waning cycle off. And for those of you on Unity Online Radio who can't see what I'm doing that move from the Karate Kid movie, waxing cycle on, waning cycle off. In other words, go for it in the waxing cycle and then in the waning cycle. So if you see me working too hard in the waning cycle, have a word with me. All right, so Yes, so we're moving into the waning cycle, which is more about surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means handing everything over to the divine. We are all divine, whether we realize it or not. So when we hand anything over to the divine, effectively that includes the part of us which is divine too. To decode this, at the time of the full moon in Leo, we must surrender and release pride. Leo is where we are proud, and we all have Leo in our charts somewhere. And if you don't believe me, go and do your chart, moonmessages.com/free chart. And then, having let go and entrusted our life wishes, problems, everything to the divine or the universe or God or goddess, guess what? We allow space for changes to happen. And the other thing to say as well is, well, there's a couple of things to say. One is, we are, like, the energies right now are really high because of the upcoming Jupiter-Uranus alignment, okay? And that is going to basically, that's like the change that we're all desperate for. It's the change that we all knew was coming, you know, that I've been talking about for months. I really don't want to blow my own trumpet here because I don't want to tempt fate, but I will say, because it's true and it is completely pure astrology, on about November the 27th, or the 26th or the 27th, November last year, was when I think they first started having all the reports about Omicron. And I was sitting down on the couch watching telly when it all came on. I was like, this doesn't make sense, because I know the astrology for 2022 is so much better than 2020 and 2021. And hasn't the astrology borne out? Hasn't it borne out? Omicron actually turned out to almost kind of be a good thing, because it's eradicated Delta, because it's way more contagious, and it's not sending people to hospital. So in fact, it's like Omicron did save us all, as I was hoping. And so just to kind of reiterate what the astrology was, so that was the end of November. I only know the date because I wrote a post about it, which I was a bit nervous about, but I felt Jonathan Kaner fully over my shoulder going, write this post, Yasmin, you know it's going to be okay. And, you know, pretty soon there were reports coming out from South Africa that it wasn't going to be a bad, you know, that it was mild. But then, you know, November, December, you know, people still had to kind of bow to Omicron. We had beautiful friends in Australia who were going to come over to France for Christmas, and we were going to see them in France for the first time in 2 years. Some really dear friends that whose company we really enjoy, and so on and so forth. They cancelled because of Omicron. So it wasn't like it was all perfect, but it was like we were all being careful. But I knew as an astrologer, no, this is going to be okay, because the last of the nasty Saturn squares took place on December 24, Christmas Eve. And ever since then, I've been talking about the fact that now we just need to get to the middle of February. We're going to have the Jupiter-Uranus alignment, and everything is going to start to turn the corner. Touch wood, I don't want to tempt fate, but honestly, we should be just nearly there to really turning the corner. And sure enough, you know, like, well, Boris Johnson is about to, who's the Prime Minister of the UK, he's basically taking all the restrictions off. Some people are saying he's doing it just to be, you know, political, and because everybody will be really happy if he gets rid of all the restrictions. Probably possible. But at the end of the day, it's also fewer people are going to hospital with COVID now. And so many people are vaccinated, and whether you believe in vaccinations or not, that definitely seems to have had a big effect. And so here we are, you know, the full moon, Jupiter and Uranus, and we're turning the corner. Please God, please Goddess, universe, source, spirit. So that's the full moon. I will just say, because we do have a kind of a special on that's really not going to last much longer. We extended it because actually our servers crashed a bit a few days ago. But I do have a special offer if you want to find out all about the Jupiter-Uranus alignment. I'm going to be doing a special night in my Sun, Moon and Stars membership. So you can either buy the workshop for, I think, about $25, or you can pay $1 and get a 1-month trial of the Sun, Moon and Stars membership before we close that offer. The link is in the description for those of you on Facebook. Otherwise, it's moonmessages.com/SMS1. So S for Sun, M for Moon, S for Stars, and then the number 1. moonmessages.com/SMS1. All right, so, and I'm going to be talking all about the Jupiter-Uranus alignment, what it means for people, what it means for you, especially if you know your rising sign, how it's likely to impact you. So, I'm going to go to the lines now. Let us go to line 1, which is it Maisha or Maisha? Maisha?
Maisha.
Maisha. Where is that name from, Maisha?
My mom named the parakeet that when she was younger.
What, she named her parakeet that and then she named her daughter that?
Yes.
Right.
Sorry.
That's her story and she's sticking to it.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. Well, there you go. So, Maisha, I'm just doing your chart here. What would you like to talk about today?
I would like to talk about, first I'd like to echo Ginny's just praise of you. I think we all can agree that you're amazing, and I love how accessible and friendly you are.
Thank you.
So, I have, as far as a love situation, it's very complicated.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of what's going on in my life is, a lot of my Astrology cards, like sometimes I get the, try to do as little steering as possible. And so I'm trying to find that balance of trusting and like having faith and where I need to take the inspired action to go after, if it's mine or if I'm trying too hard, if there's like a balance that I can find to know really where I can take that action to reach for what I want or where I should just kind of back off and let the cards fall.
Okay, so before we start, Maisha, I just need to ask you a question. So what time were you born exactly? I just want to make sure there's no mistake here. Was it like 8 minutes past midnight?
No. Well, correct.
Okay. And in a place called La Grande, Grande, in Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now I need to ask you a slightly more personal question. From the way you're talking, it sounds to me like there's someone you've got your eye on and you're just not sure if they're as into you as you're into them. Is that right?
We will be 10 years.
Oh, you're married. Okay.
But we are currently separated.
Oh, you're separated right now. Okay. And you want to get back together and you're not sure that he does?
No, I think we're both kind of confused as to whether some things were done and said, and he pulled away where I was a little bit confused, and so now it's kind of this interesting dynamic of like, I'm not sure I not safe in like a physical sense, but just like safe as in my heart sense. And so we're trying to figure out, do we say sorry and try to come back together, or do we realize that there's bigger issues at play that may not ever change?
And how long have you been separated, Maisha?
Just after the Lionsgate portal, when I said, hey, universe, I'm ready to do all my things.
Right. Yeah, no, I asked because I wondered if you'd been separated under Venus retrograde, because Venus was retrograde at the start of the year, at the end of the year and the start of the year, which would have been a really good time to reunite if it was going to happen. What is your feeling? Do you feel like you want to get back together, or you just feel trust is broken and that's it?
Well, I know the trust was broken almost 5 years ago to the day, and we got put back together, and it was amazing. But then it was kind of like, yeah, the like second go round came back about that was kind of shocking. The first go round made sense, but the second go round then.
What, a second betrayal?
Third time is charm.
Are you saying it was a second betrayal?
In a different way. The first one I felt was like a betrayal, and the second one was just kind of an out of nowhere. Hey, I've decided I want to move. I want to move across the country, and I want to change jobs, and I don't want to build the life that we had been building.
Right. But you were invited along for the ride.
Not at first.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, Maisha.
We're done. The second it was.
Yeah. The thing is, Maisha, for one thing, I would say you've had the Venus retrograde, which honestly was a time when I think, you know, couples who are broken up, who should be together or whose souls want to stay together, you know, or both souls want to stay together for their further evolution, will often get back together. So if you didn't get back together then, and also if there's been a betrayal and then he was going to move across the country and you weren't invited, and, you know, the thing is, what I'm looking at is that I'm looking at your chart and you're Virgo rising. Therefore, you have Jupiter, the planet of good luck, in your relationship zone right now. And it's all, I mean, I don't want to be mean to your husband or your ex or whatever. But it's such a good time for you to be with the right person. So if you think he's the right person, by all means, persist. But if you don't, now is such a good time for you to meet someone else.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Do you want a card?
I would love a card.
I hope that's okay. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do or what's going to happen. I'm just telling you the astrology.
It was an arranged marriage, so like it wasn't like, oh, this is my soulmate. It was just that we grew together, and so now it's confusing.
Right. Well, you've actually got the full moon in Libra card, which suggests it could be the end of a relationship cycle. It's find a balance. Let me just read you a little bit from the book. Yeah, I mean, you've got your best love stars for 12 years right now, so don't waste them on, you know, if he's moved on, literally moved to another part of the country or whatever, or you're separated and he doesn't want to get back together, you know, if you want to make it work, by all means, go for it. But otherwise, it's kind of a shame to be pining for someone if they're not pining for you when you've got Jupiter in your 7th house, which only happens every 12 years. Okay?
Okay.
So this card suggests you need to find a balance between what you need versus what someone else needs. Walk a mile in their shoes. Once you understand where they're coming from, you can take action. If you've been through a worrying time, including regarding your health, this card reminds you to find the right people for help. Okay, so in fact you need to disregard everything I've said. It says, make your own mind up about your situation rather than being too influenced by others. So, you know, take what I've said into account, but also think about what you actually want. You know, maybe I'm sort of saying, well, you know, it sounds like he might have cheated from what you said, and then he wanted to leave you and move across the country. So to me, that's a bit like, really? You've got Jupiter in your 7th house, such a potentially good time for love. You sure you want to kind of hang out with this dude if he doesn't want to be with you? But then at the same time, if your heart is saying, you know what, it was an arranged marriage, but actually, you know, I've come to love him, or I think we make a really good pair, or you've made a family, I don't know. You know, maybe you can work it out. So anyway, the card literally says, make up your own mind about your situation rather than being too influenced by others. And are you by any chance of Indian descent, Maisha? I just asked because you said it was an arranged marriage.
No, I'm not.
The only reason I asked is because the goddess, who is sort of the goddess to work with when you get this card, is the Hindu goddess Lakshmi, who's the goddess of love, abundance and beauty. So it doesn't matter where you're from. Call in Lakshmi and ask her to open your heart and fill you with love, kindness, and gratitude. Okay, have you got that? Did you hear that?
Yes.
And your manifestation affirmation is, there is love all around me. I am lovable. There is love all around me. I am lovable. Let me hear you say it.
There is love all around me, and I am loved.
Yes. Yes. So I hope that helps, but you have been told not to listen to anyone else. Just decide in your own heart what's right. Honey Bunch, I'm afraid to say we are out of time. Have a great full moon, everybody, and I will see you or hear you next week. Speak to you next week. Lots of love. Bye, Maisha. Hope you're okay. If you're not, drop me a line. Yasmin@yasminboland.com.
All right, that was really good.
Thanks, Louie. Thank you so much. See ya.
Talk to you next.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
My son has just walked into the room. All right, guys, I'm just going to mention as well, next week on the show, I'm going to have Robin and Michael Mastro, the magical chanting, Sri Yantra, fabulous people from San Diego. So make sure you tune in. Lots of love, guys. I'll see you later.